So in the interest of normal content, um, I've got one of several games I recorded. It's not the worst game, it's not the best game, it's just a pretty normal game for someone who is not that great of a player. This is the P51 D10, which it's premium, it's 4.3, it should probably be 4.7, but while it sits at 4.3, it's great to play. It's an enjoyable Mustang to fly. You get most of the D30's performance with the benefit of never having to see some of the really just absolute monster meta planes at 5.7. This match, like many that I played, was an air spawn. And it's really interesting because it completely changes the early match dynamic. And some of the aircraft that might otherwise struggle to attain a little bit of altitude or who might stay lower end up climbing. So it's always a good idea to climb, but I end up seeing some aircraft here up high that maybe I wouldn't normally. This is a great example of missing an opportunity and misplay. I probably could have taken out that A7M right there, which would have really helped to shorten this match considerably, since that comes back to bite me later. But at this point, I don't want to get tangled up with the A7M because I can see all of the other aircraft he's got high. And this is a problem that I encounter, probably a lot of people encounter frequently. You do climb, but you're not in an aircraft that can out-climb anyone. So how do you actually get into the fight when there are more of them than there are of you? And I don't have a great answer for that. But I do see that I've got a teammate up high over here, and he's in a 1 versus 3, so I figure I'll head this direction and see if I can't help him out. Looked like there was one teammate that disengaged there too. I misjudged the energy state of the Yak 3 badly here, and people make too much out of the Yak 3 being a low altitude fighter. The truth is, most of the fighters in this game are low altitude. The Mustang is low altitude if you look at the engine tuning. And while the Yak does give up a little bit in engine performance at this altitude, the energy retention and overall maneuverability remain obviously pretty outstanding. I was surprised that he was able to pull in for that, so I ended up dodging. And I almost died right there because I was thinking about making a play for the other bandit that was below me. But then I remembered that the Yak 3 is a UFO, so even though we're above his optimal performance window, and even though he made a complete 180-degree turn to follow me, why wouldn't he be just about a half kilometer away in firing range and immediately on my tail? Just one of the challenges of playing against the Yak 3, right? Same BR, and if the D30 should go to 4.7, the Yak 3 should definitely go to 4.7. Absolutely bonkers that plane is 4.3. But now I've got to brave Sir Robin. I've got to run from the Yak, and another Yak has joined the fight. So at this point, I've sped the video up because just watching me fly in a straight line away from people is not super interesting, not much to tell, but at least I've got a teammate. So I'm trying to keep him off my wing. And this is an example of, like, when you're a normal person, you're flying a US prop, you're not the best dogfighter, you don't know how to actually take a 2v1. I don't know, maybe somebody can take a 2v1 versus a Yak 3 and a Yak 9 and win it, but that player is not me, right? So I'm doing what I do pretty frequently. I'm tying these people up, I'm keeping them from engaging other members of my team, while at the same time trying to work them back to a teammate in a way that is controlled, that creates an opportunity for that teammate. Now, both of these players are aware, so the Yak 3 actually resets his position. The Yak 9 gets involved here, but not badly. I miss one of many passes, and at this point I hear the Yak 3's engine, so I look around real quick here in a second, and I realize that I'm going to be either lucky or dead here in about 5 seconds, and thankfully in this case it's lucky. I think I actually stalled the engine out here. You should never be going as slow as I'm going in Mustang right now. I don't know what I was thinking with that vertical. I should have kept it flat or even dove to maneuver on the other Yak. But now I'm just porpoising a little bit, putting a little bit of movement to try and make it just that much harder for the Yak 3 to hit me. And the best I can say here is I've at least pulled him away from my friendly. Now, Yak 3's don't have a lot of ammo. They don't tend to take a lot of gas. So whether he's out of ammo, out of gas, or some combination of both, he is actually truly RTBing at this point, which is great because now we have a 1v2 versus really the only remaining fighter on their team who's high, and I get to demonstrate some truly terrible marksmanship, which is a common theme for me. I think I actually go through half of my ammo trying to hit the Yak 9, or nearly half of it. Just ugly shooting. I should have rolled my wings here. Should have rolled them earlier. And it's just not enough lead, right? Like, you'd think that would get through my head at some point, that I need to pull more lead, and I just don't. Just a complete failure to learn it down. Because the reality is, I mean, these are all great shooting opportunities. He's not particularly fast. He's maneuvering in a way that is ideal for the Mustang. It really doesn't get better than this, right? He's at close range. Just not making the shots. We do manage to tag team a little bit. I get the severe, praise the Lord, and off I go. You know what? Actually, wait. That was strategy. I wanted to dump half my ammo so I'd be lighter. And you know, if you're not getting high kill games, if you struggle with early positioning, if you struggle to commit early, this is probably a really common spot to be in. We're easily halfway through this match. I've got one frag so far, which is equal parts luck and incompetence, but what I do have is the Mustang's gigantic fuel load. So now it's a question, what can I do to buy time for my team? And I'm going to head back towards their base. I'm going to see if I can reacquire contact with one of the bandits that was spotted earlier. And we're about to experience here a common frustration. That's a zero below me, and he is going to proceed to outplay me solidly by pressing and holding the S key. And my accuracy comes back to bite me. All of these dodges are incredibly predictable. If you've played a zero before, you know they're going to turn underneath you pretty much every time. That is what they're going to do. So if you can figure out the lead, unlike my shooting in this match, then you lead the dodge, you spray right into where they're going to be, and you can at least put some damage into them. Maybe you don't take them out, but you can put some damage into them. And it's a balancing act. I should have been a little closer to more effectively pressure him there, but every zero pilot is just waiting for you to make one miscalculation so that you cannot extend after the pass, and then they've got you, because once they're on your 6, they're going to remain planted there. And at most common dogfighting speeds, their acceleration is actually better than yours. That's a great example of a slow dodge right in front of my guns that I should have been able to nail and couldn't, right? So my accuracy issues, my inability to aim just continue to bite me. But that doesn't mean that I can't be useful, right? So I'm tying these guys up. They are not repositioning. They're not climbing. They're not getting to RTB. They're not getting to play for AI units, right? There's a whole bunch of things that, even though I'm not finishing the fight, I'm not flying particularly well, I'm stopping them from having a positive impact on their team. And this is another really slow dodge that, had I been with it, I could have done something with. But I'm not going to follow that, because what I'm not going to do is get myself slow in front of a yak, and then end up in a 2 versus 1 dogfight with 2 aircraft that are more maneuverable, that accelerate better. Again, if I were some sort of crack ace pilot really good at this game, maybe that's a winnable fight. I don't know. For someone, it's probably winnable. For me, that's not a winnable fight. This is what I can do. But again, I'm tying up 2 players. Now I've got a teammate that comes in, and the reason I haven't already turned around is because I'm waiting for that yak to break off. Because the distance he is, if I turn now, he gets a shot on me before I can get my guns around. So I'm giving him a free shot for nothing. And on top of that, he's going to outrate me, he's going to plant himself on my 6, and that's going to be it. And then my choice is to run in the other direction. So I need for him to maneuver, I need for him to create some space. He does that, my teammate comes in. There's actually enough space between the two now that we can start working something here. Again, just more failure to anticipate, failure to shoot, just because you're gonna, it's a showcase of terrible accuracy. Look how slow he is. Look how slow he is. The good news is, because I had a little bit of distance and I myself was not slow, I've got the ability to keep turning, exit this direction. We're bringing more teammates in. And ideally, you would actually aim, which I think I'm commenting on here in the chat, but with US props that do tend to be fast, do tend to handle well when you keep them fast, this is an option. You rotate passes in. You go in, you go out. You have the ability to dictate the fight. If you don't want to take the fight, if you don't want to turn with them, they're not fast enough to catch you. They can't stop you from egress.
Take him down!
I'm just calling out that bandit for my teammates so that he doesn't come in and catch him by surprise. And wonder of wonders, I am about to get a little bit lucky here. I think the Zero is feeling some pressure to make something happen. Arguments to a teammate. I finally actually hit a shot. Now, a fire doesn't mean anything, but a fire in conjunction with a severe damage, that well and slow, that's meaningful. I fly the A7M sometimes. I really like the guns on it. I don't really want to take the head on. I actually, the Type 99 Mark IIs or Mod 2s, whatever they are, I like those a fair bit. And even the machine guns on the A7M slap pretty hard. The Zero eventually goes in, and the A7M's got a little bit of damage. I think he and my teammate there kind of full committed to each other. He was able to get out of the way. And now I'm just kind of playing footsie with him, right? He's faking like he's turning off, I turn back in, he turns back in, and we just kind of go back and forth. But what I'm doing is I'm preventing him from RTBing. I'm forcing him to follow me. He's out of position now. He's low, he's slow, he can't repair. And then when he finally realizes that I'm baiting him, he does turn around, which this is what you have to do as an A7M pilot. You don't have the ability to dictate fights, so you're going to have to hit reversals, you're going to have to bait people to chase you. And the A7M does that well. It's a good plane. And at this point, I just decided to commit to the A7M because I can see the Zero up there, and it's a terrible spot. I miss again. It's just a theme.
Attack the enemy!
But I did set the A7 up pretty well for my teammate here, and now I'm just going to fight for my life to try and buy my teammate a little bit of time, because that's all I can do. Zero above me, Zero's fast. I know he's not going to be able to follow that because of how close I am to the ground, but looking at me, just holds position right behind me. And now he's going to start peppering my plane. This is exactly the position you do not want to be in with a turn fighter, because I'm not going to reverse this guy, right? Like he turns better, he accelerates better at low speed. Like you're not going to have a reversal against the Zero in a Mustang at low altitude, low speed, unless they're absolutely brain dead. Now he sticks with me there because if he can finish me and take a 1v1 versus this guy, he's in a good shape. But he doesn't get there, right? So we managed to pull out a victory. I am able to set him up for my teammate. So despite having a not very good match for myself, he still affected the outcome.